I am very, very interested because we've got some amazingly smart bloody entrepreneurs in Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. So I'm very interested in what you think as well. So please post something in the question area about what you think. I'd be interested to see that. My thoughts are that it is hard to predict that far into the future, okay? However, what we can do, and what I do a lot, is I look at the patents that are being registered by, the big companies in the e-commerce world. So that is, in e-commerce, Amazon, of course. It's also Facebook, and it's Google. So what patents are the big players registering? And that ought to tell us a lot about what's going on. Okay, so based on what I can see, it's clear to me that they believe the future lies in things like augmented reality, so that's AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality, so virtual environments, VR. Okay, it's clear to me that they're putting an inordinate amount of resources into augmented reality and virtual reality. And I personally would not like to be a traditional brick and mortar store in the next 10 years, because it is very clear to me they will become increasingly obsolete. If you think about what we currently use a physical store for, we tend to use them now to try things on, for clothes and things like that. We try them on, or we use them to assess the product we're thinking of buying in a physical space, whether that's to see the quality of it, to see how big it is, to see how it would look in a given environment, that sort of thing. So that tends to be what a lot of physical stores are being used for now. If you look at the patents and things like that are being registered, it's pretty obvious that that's going to be all handled by virtual reality and augmented reality in the future, leaving little use for the high street shops. So I think in the next 10 years, we're going to see more and more shift towards augmented reality and virtual environments where we can, try things on, where we can see how things look in situ, we can assess the quality of things like that. I think that's going to go. I also think that we'll see our ad strategy, so advertising strategy, changing as people migrate from one platform to the next latest thing. I don't know what the next latest thing is. That will become apparent as time goes on. And then based on what we're seeing, and this is, I think, very, very exciting for us as sellers, we're seeing more and more direct-to-consumer models. So that is, people like you and I selling directly to the consumers and cutting out all of the middlemen. We're seeing that more and more. So that's people like Gwyneth Paltrow with her Goop brand, for instance. That's a direct-to-consumer business model. Jessica Alba has got all her homewares brand. Again, direct-to-consumer model. Kylie Jenner with that makeup brand that she just put together. That's a direct-to-consumer model. And we're seeing that more and more and more. And I think that's great for us as third-party sellers. I believe that's the way things are going. Smaller niches with a direct-to-consumer model. Again, that's something I'm fascinated by. It's actually something that I'm working on myself, my own direct-to-consumer models. It's something as well in my keynote speech on Saturday at the AOE conference. I'm going to be talking all about that, talking about the research we've been doing, the successes we've had, the failures we've had, and what we've learned and where we're heading with that particular business model. So if you want to see that, make sure you come to the conference. If you come into the conference, you'll get to see that on the Saturday. I'm super excited to share it with you. We've got I don't want to give away too much of that, but we've got one particular thing I'm thinking of where we've had 15 million people go through a particular business cycle to look at a particular business product. 15 million people. So some very, very exciting things happening there. So I think that's kind of cool for us as third-party sellers. That's definitely the way it's going. What else? I think same-day delivery will become the norm. It will become ubiquitous. It will become the norm, and it will become what customers expect. Therefore, companies like Amazon will need to adapt to that and need to figure out ways of fulfilling on that same-day promise. It'd be interesting to see how they do that in Australia. America, I can understand pretty much already how they're going to do that, but places like Australia, it's going to be interesting to see the development in infrastructure Amazon will need to do to meet same-day delivery in Australia. E-commerce in places like India and Brazil and parts of Africa as well will boom. I mean, those countries are just set for an economic boom time. They truly, truly are. India, Brazil, parts of Africa, man, oh man, oh man, there's going to be a shitload of opportunities there. There truly is. And the final thing as well that I think is going to definitely happen in the next 10 years is the proliferation of voice search. And I think we'll become more and more reliant on voice search, which will have some massive impacts for search engine optimization, because voice search is much, much different to written search. We say things a lot more differently to how we type things, and it's much, much easier to articulate things in voice and to add texture and nuance to things in voice than it is in typed words. So I think that's going to be interesting. Currently there are just under 25% of all households in the USA have got some form of smart home assistants, such as Alexa, for instance, in their home. So 25% already, and that figure's growing and growing and growing. So I think that's going to be kind of interesting. Anything else? I don't think so. I think that's, if I was to predict anything, that would be my predictions. So let's have a look at what you guys reckon. Hayden, I think Amazon will have their own mail service and do away with current post and courier services. Absolutely. In fact, that's happening right now. In Australia, they've got Amazon Fetch, which is their own version of FedEx. So that's happening already. So yeah, nice. James says augmented reality. Kevin, e-commerce is here to stay, but increasing. I couldn't agree with that more. Kathy, continued growth to go into new disruptors enters markets. Yep. Voice search, says Hayden. Damo says, I think like what's happening in the US, a great deal more will be online than it is now. 100% agree with that. People are getting busier and time poor for administration-driven stuff. That's interesting. But Damo doesn't believe stores will disappear. I think they won't disappear either. I think they'll be repurposed as other things. What else? Carl, be massive. Business will continue saying not continue to die off. William, personal patterns of dying. Kevin says that hospitality and restaurants will remain. Everything else is going online. Yep. 3 Aussie retailers left the market this week. That's right. I saw that too. So Kathy says 3 good size Australian retailers left the market this week. So Jeans West, the Beats Club, etc. 100%. More platforms like Amazon. Brian says buying online via Google Home, Amazon Echo. Yep, I really agree with that. Henry, I went to Officeworks today to get a new office chair and second monitor because I wanted to see how they look and feel to operate. Yeah, I agree with that. I think there will be some areas where a physical store will be required. I don't know about that though. I think that there will be virtual environments where we can do that. The goop thing with the smelly vaginas, that's just hilarious. Me and my wife watched that. That's just hilarious. Hayden says that Nike has gone for a direct-to-consumer model. Any thoughts on the future of flood? No, I don't have anything to say about restaurants. India, they have electric delivery vans. That's interesting. I remember Damos says seeing Amazon trialing using drones for delivery. Yep, so they've already got patents for two things with regards to that. So they've got patents on drones for drone delivery. They've also got patents on robots for delivery to the door as well. So that's interesting. Michael says about buying new cars virtually. Well, Tesla, they sold. Now I'm going to have to kind of fudge the numbers here, so if I've fucked this up, I do apologize. But my understanding is this: Tesla sold 230,000 orders of the Tesla Model 3 online, not in showrooms, all online. That was, I'm pretty sure that's the approximate number, 230,000. It was something like $14.3 billion worth of products for that particular product launch without any physical stores. For a car. I mean, holy shit. This is the way things are going. Online design, 3D print. That was right, read Tesla, thanks to that, Kate. All pre-orders, yeah. So that wasn't orders, that was pre-orders, all done online, direct to consumer. And think about it, it's a freaking car. You couldn't imagine 10 years ago buying a car online without a test drive. And now, Tesla launches 230,000 sales, $14.3 billion in advanced orders. It's nuts. So, yeah, there you go. My wifey wants a Tesla, so, you know, I'm like going insane because she wants a Tesla. Although I do love them. They're kind of cool. All right, so good question. Thanks so much for your answers there, guys. Some really, really good insights into that as well. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video, and I hope that you got some massive value from it. Before you go, do you live in Australia? If you do, this is for you. Would you like to learn how to sell things on Amazon here in Australia? Would you like to know what sells really, really well and what sells for the maximum amount of profit? Would you like to know where you can source those products from, whether that be in China or here in Australia, and how to source them so you pay bottom dollar and get maximum value for what you're doing? If you do, please subscribe to my channel and like this video, and you'll learn that and much more. It's the exact same information that people like Jeff from New South Wales I've used to make $45,000 a month on Amazon, that Sue, who's from the sunny coast, has used to purchase herself a brand spankly BMW every single year as a result of her e-commerce business, and the lovely Kate from Bowral in New South Wales has used to make $32,000 a year on, a month, not a year, a month on Amazon, and indeed Anthony, who makes $15,000 a month on Amazon, selling, as he puts it, odds and sods. If you'd like to learn the exact same information that they use to maximize their profits for their Amazon businesses, subscribe to this video, like my channel, post below if you want me to teach you something. Okay, I'm out of here. Speak to you soon. Bye. Subscribe. Do it now.